everyone, and welcome to Science. We are doing a little bit of a review and kind of a question answer thing. So this is my first ed puzzle of the whole year, and I just want to see where you guys are at with this material. So this is technically the fourth day we've been studying cells, and I've kind of just given you the information and trusted you that you're that you're going to watch these videos and get it in your brain. So we're going to see how that's working so far. We learned about microscopes last Wednesday and Thursday. Friday was just kind of a basic introductory to cells. No school Monday. Tuesday was kind of a hard day. I think I told you your brain may have felt like overloaded because we went into a whole bunch of different organelles. And then yesterday I did a review, and then I talked about two different organelles that are specifically found in only plant cells. So what we're doing today is I'm going to do a little review, talk a little bit, and then there's going to be some questions that you have to answer. All right? So not too terrible. And there's a lovely little surprise for you at the end of this, which, yeah, here we go. So cell theory, this is what we talked about on Friday. Cell theory comes in three different parts, and some of this, to be honest, is just kind of obvious to us, but got to know it. So all living things are made of cells, and we actually talked about this in our diversity of life unit when we talked about what the difference was between living and non-living. So how is, a cat living and my phone non-living, right? And one of the characteristics was made of cells. So remember, made of cells, reproduces, living space, grows and develops. Do you remember that? That's from a long time ago. Second thing says cells carry out all of the functions needed to support life. And the third thing is that cells come from other living cells, meaning that you can't just create life from nothing. It has to have come from a cell or come from another living things. If you hear my kids laughing right now and making noises, I apologize. They're kind of loud upstairs. So that is the third part of the cell theory. Again, cells are the basic unit of life. They are the building blocks of life. This picture is of a plant cell, and that's one of the differences that we talk about, or one of the things you need to know the differences of is between a plant cell and an animal cell. So yeah, this is very much a plant cell. Over here, organelles, you need to know what those are. Organelles are the tiny little structures that are found inside of a cell. So again, I've been using this example all week, just like we have organs within our body that do certain things. Cells have little tiny organs called organelles that have little jobs and functions, and they all have to work in order for the cell to remain alive and active. All right, time for your first set of questions. Moving along. We've got the nucleus being the control center of the cell. Again, it's not always in the middle. Usually it's kind of a darkened area. But again, that controls all the activities that go on in the cell. Nucleus or nuclei are only found in eukaryotes. They are not found in prokaryotes. The cell membrane is the structure that goes all the way around the outside of the cell. And again, what that does is it lets things enter and leave the cell. So again, I think of it kind of like a security guard, or I know we compared it as our cell as a school as like the door, lets things in and out of the school. Cell membrane lets things in and out of the cell. Vacuoles are areas of storage in the cell. And there are three types of vacuoles. There's water vacuole, which stores water, food vacuole, which stores food, and waste vacuole, which stores waste. One of the differences between a plant and an animal cell is that animals have a bunch of little tiny water vacuoles, and plant cells have one large water vacuole. So one difference between those two. The nuclear membrane has almost the exact same function as the cell membrane, but instead, the nuclear membrane just surrounds the outside of the nucleus. The cell membrane surrounds the outside of the cell and lets things in and out. So nuclear membrane allows things to enter and leave the nucleus. All right, time for some more questions. Answer these, please. Here we go, cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is the gel-like fluid that fills the cell. So in this picture here, it would be all this like kind of olivey green color here. So again, if there was no cytoplasm, everything would just kind of collapse in on itself. So it kind of gives the cell that structure. Mitochondria I always think mitochondria looks like little yummy bread rolls or like French bread. They are the organelle that creates energy for the cell. So it's like the powerhouse. So think like your muscle cells, for example, are going to have a whole bunch of mitochondria because your muscle cells need a lot of energy in order to move your body. So think mighty mitochondria. I think I made you flex. I don't know if you did that, but you were supposed to flex when I said mighty mitochondria. The endoplasmic reticulum, or ER, is a pathway for materials to move around the cell. So I think of it kind of like as a hallway or a conveyor belt. It kind of moves things, important materials around the cell. Ribosomes. Ribosomes are little protein making factories. So your body requires a whole bunch of proteins in order to function. And proteins make other chemicals, and then those chemicals make other chemicals in order for you to stay alive. So ribosomes are protein making factories. Time for some more questions. Here we go. We are almost done. So feel good about yourself right now. We're almost done. Golgi body. Golgi body packages and gives off, secretes, or releases those proteins. So ribosomes will make the proteins, and then they go into the Golgi body, and then they kind of get packaged and get ready to be to exit the cell, basically. So again, I think of it kind of like Amazon. You know, I order something on Amazon, which I order a lot on Amazon. I get like a package a day. When I order something on Amazon, they're going to take that, whatever object I order, whatever gift I'm ordering, they're going to put it in a box, and they're going to tape it shut, and they're going to get it ready to be sent to me. That's what the Golgi body does. Lysosomes. Lysosomes are the cleanup crew of the cell. So I think I gave this example too. Think Lysol is like a cleaning brand, I think, kind of like Clorox, right? Lysol cleans like, you know, your toilet, and it cleans your desk and cleans your sink. Lysosome cleans the cell, kind of digests unused and unwanted cell parts. These are the two that we learned about yesterday. The cell wall goes around the outside of only plant cells. So plant cells have a cell membrane that lets things in and out, but they have this additional thick wall that goes around the outside to give the plant extra structure and extra support. Okay, so again, cell wall, plant cells only. Same thing with chloroplasts, you guys. Chloroplasts are only found in plant cells. Plants are autotrophs. Plants can make their own food. And the reason they can is because they got these little structures called chloroplasts. And in this picture, they kind of look like little jelly beans, right? So what these do is they take in energy from the sun, and they produce food or sugar for the cell to use to grow and to develop and to repair. Again, we do not have chloroplasts because we are not autotrophs. We can't make our own food. We can't just sit out in the sun and get full, right? Might get a suntan, but we can't get our energy that way. Okay, so chloroplast and cell wall is only found in plant cells. And then last but not least, let's focus on this picture over here, the chromosomes first. Chromosomes are the genetic material that's inside the nucleus that controls how to create a cell. So it's kind of like the instructions manual for how the cell is run. I think of it kind of as like the nucleus. Okay, so if the cell is a kitchen, I know I give you a lot of examples, but if the cell is a kitchen, okay, the nucleus would be like the chef or the cook who's like preparing a meal, right? The chromosomes would be the recipe that they're following in order to create some yummy food. Without the recipe, the cook's it's not really gonna know what to do, right? So the recipe is like the chromosomes. It's how the cell is run, how it's made, and then the nucleus controls the cell. And again, chromosomes are found right inside the nucleus. Okay, and this is your little treat here. This is Mrs. Swanson when she was in 7th grade and in middle school. So if you're feeling bad about yourself, if you're feeling a little down because of quarantine and COVID-19's got you feeling a little blue and kind of moody, look at that picture. That should make you feel better about yourself. Okay. Anyways, I've got a couple more questions for you guys. And then, yeah, we're done for today.